The time Mr. Beast was arrested for communicating threats, 2 YouTubers who were arrested for robbing a bank, and even a YouTuber who was arrested for faking a plane crash. These are just 3 of the arrests I'm going to be discussing today, starting with a duo that was arrested for trespassing. On February 22nd, 2022, a couple by the name of Saucy and Honey apparently uploaded a video of them spending the night at a local Target. They built a box fort at the back of the store, waited until the employees left for the night, then spent a merry few hours driving around the store in a stroller. Well, it turns out Saucy and Honey's whole 24-hour in Target challenge wasn't entirely genuine. The pair actually got bored and left the store at 3 a.m., setting off the store's silent emergency alarm. It looked like Saucy and Honey had gotten away with it until they got a call from the police saying that Target was pressing charges. The couple were found guilty of third-degree trespassing and conspiracy and released on a $25,000 bail. But that seems minor compared to the Stoke twins, who faced 4 years in prison for faking a bank robbery. Back in October 2019, the Stoke twins recorded themselves putting on ski masks, running through a university campus, all while carrying a duffel bag full of cash. They thought it'd be funny to try to convince strangers that they had just robbed a bank, but instead people became noticeably frightened. The Stoke twins then decided to call an Uber. However, the driver would refuse to take them anywhere and told them to get out. The twins were charged with false imprisonment and falsely reporting an emergency. They both would plead guilty to reduce their charges and would end up getting 150 hours of community service, 1 year of probation, and an order not to produce any more videos that mimic criminal behavior. Next up, we have Ice Poseidon, who was arrested because of a live stream and faced 5 years in prison. It happened back in June of 2023, when Ice announced that he was doing a streamathon across multiple countries in Asia. Prior to the arrest, Ice Poseidon would act stupidly multiple times, once in India where he told a fellow streamer to gamble with a credit card, and another in South Korea where he punched his girlfriend's camera. However, it was when Ice Poseidon and his group got to Thailand that things would quickly spiral out of control. While sitting in a hotel lobby with his girlfriend and friends, Ice Poseidon would film himself giving lap dances in lingerie. The hotel manager could then be heard warning the group that they could not do this in Thailand and that she was calling the police. Ice Poseidon and his friends were arrested and charged with distributing obscene content and spent the rest of the night in jail. A few days later, Ice would upload a video issuing a public apology, where he would also explain that he had to remain in Thailand until his court date.
I'm being held in Thailand for the actions that I've done a few nights ago at a hotel.
2 months later, Ice Poseidon revealed in a tweet that he was allowed to leave Thailand because he had gotten lucky with a nice judge who reduced the charges to just a small fine. Ice was lucky when compared to Vitaly, who faced 15 years in prison for pretending to have a bomb. You see, it happened back in 2012, before Vitaly became a big YouTuber, in a video titled Russian Hitman Prank Gone Wrong. Vitaly could be seen wearing a suit and tie and carrying a small black briefcase. He would then set the briefcase on the ground, telling the stranger he had 60 seconds to get away before it would explode. Things would take a turn for the worse when Vitaly eventually revealed to the man that the entire thing was a prank. The man would grab Vitaly's phone and chase both him and his cameraman through the parking lot. When the man couldn't catch up with them, he called the police. Vitaly was taken back to the police station and given a notice to appear in court. However, the charges were ultimately dropped, probably because the briefcase looked nothing like a real bomb. And while posting videos would help Vitaly gain millions of followers, the opposite is true for Sniperwolf, who lost millions of fans after allegedly doxing another creator. Back in the summer of 2023, Sniperwolf got into a heated dispute with another YouTuber, Jax Films, who had called her out for stealing other creators' work without properly crediting them. Their dispute would continue to escalate for months until October 13th, 2023, when Sniperwolf posted a photo on her Instagram story with text that read, "Should I go visit at Jax Films? He lives 5 minutes away from my shoot." She proceeded to upload several more posts to her story, one of which was a photo of the outside of Jax Films' house with text that read, "Let's talk like adults." Jax Films would post a screenshot of the Instagram story to Twitter and accuse Sniperwolf of doxing him by revealing where he lived. She would deny the allegation, saying, "I have no idea how to dox," which would gain widespread criticism. Sniperwolf needs to be deplatformed. YouTube needs to step in and do something about this. YouTube needs to suspend her channel now. So while YouTube eventually announced that Sniperwolf would receive a temporary monetization suspension, nothing legally was ever done in this case. But it's important to know that if Jax Films had been able to prove that Sniperwolf intended to cause physical contact, harassment, or injury, she could have easily been penalized under California's electronic cyber harassment statute. And speaking of navigating the often huge and dangerous world of the internet, did you know that your data, that's your name, email, phone number, address, and even your photos, are being sold online by massive corporations called data brokers? And in a world where your online privacy can easily be compromised, removing your data from data broking websites can protect you from risk of harassment, stalking like someone showing up in front of your house, and even identity theft. That's why I use Delete Me to keep my data safe. Not only do they create a detailed privacy report within 7 days showing how much of your personal data they found and removed, they spend all year deleting new pieces of data that pop up like a constant, terrifying game of internet whack-a-mole. Call me crazy, but I kind of think my marital status, my age, and the value of my property is nobody's business but my own. That's why it's such a weight off knowing that Delete Me's privacy experts are there all year round to keep my data off those websites. And as the tools these corporations use to mine your data only get more sophisticated, it's never been more important to start protecting your personal data. This isn't something you should ignore anymore. You can get 20% off when you go to joindeleteme.com/Mike20 and use promo code Mike20 at checkout. Which brings us to Mr. Beast, who thought he was facing 120 days in prison after being arrested over a prank. The incident was first seen on the Iraq YouTuber channel in a video titled, "I Actually Got Mr. Beast Arrested." Prior to the arrest, police officers were seen pulling Mr. Beast over and then questioning him about an unsafe level of window tint.
Hey, how you doing? Look, I stopped you for your tent, man.
Shortly after, a cop revealed to Mr. Beast that he had an outstanding warrant for communicating threats and he was put into handcuffs. Mr. Beast was placed into the back of a police vehicle where he was then continuously questioned.
You've never been arrested before?
No.
You get stopped a lot for your window tint?
At this point, Mr. Beast stopped talking as he probably realized it was smarter to stay quiet. While staying silent is a good decision, the one thing he should have done is state to the officer that he is exercising his right to remain silent. Otherwise, his silence could have still been used against him in court. However, things would only get worse when back at the station. Mr. Beast was booked and then put into a jail cell. Mr. Beast would ask the cops for food and to be allowed a call with his lawyer, to which Iraq finally revealed it was an elaborate prank. Next up is Logan Paul, whose arrest actually involves the military. Back in 2017, while vacationing in Italy, Logan and his friends made their way to a famous archaeological site, the Colosseum, to shoot some photos. The afternoon started off with Logan stating that he knew flying drones were illegal, but he decided to fly it anyway.
I understand drone shots here are illegal, so let's definitely do that.
The drone was picked up by the military and confiscated for breaking the capital's no-fly zone policy.
In this area is illegal.
No bueno.
I must arrest you for this.
Logan was escorted to police headquarters where he spent the rest of the day. But that's nothing compared to Gideon, because he was arrested for a Valentine's Day prank gone wrong. The incident was seen in a video titled, "My Professor Rejected Me," that was posted on the prank channel Dami. The video would start with Gideon and Dami entering a university classroom, to which Dami can allegedly be seen carrying balloons, flowers, and a stuffed animal. Dami would then approach a female class instructor and allegedly profess his love, saying that she helped him cheat on tests. The professor responded by calling Gideon and Dami out for using foul language and telling them they had to leave, adding that she was calling the university police department. It turns out that Gideon wasn't arrested until a few weeks later, when streaming the entire incident live on Instagram.
All right, chat, I'm going to jail. See you boys later.
And while the law eventually caught up with Gideon and he had to pay a large fine, his punishment wasn't nearly as bad as Trevor Jacobs, who after faking a plane crash was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Back in 2021, a former Olympian named Trevor Jacob uploaded a video to his YouTube channel titled, "I Crashed My Airplane." The video begins with Trevor taking off in a small 2-seater airplane. About 35 minutes into the flight, the plane's propellers stop moving, which causes Trevor to become alarmed. After realizing the engine may have failed, he opens the door and jumps out, parachuting to the ground. Some viewers were suspicious of the stunt, with a number of comments pointing out that Jacob was already wearing a parachute. He made no attempt to glide the aircraft to a safe landing area, and he took a camera and selfie stick with him when abandoning the plane. To make matters worse, Jacob lied to investigators, telling them he did not know the location of the wreckage. But actually instead, he found the crash site and used a helicopter to lift the wreckage out of the forest, and then, bit by bit, dismantled and disposed of the wreckage in an attempt to interfere with the investigation. Trevor would plead guilty to destruction and concealment with the intent to obstruct a federal investigation and was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Talk about a weird way to go to prison. Equally weird was Christopher and Kimberly Phelps, who attempted to fake car accidents in the videos posted on their YouTube channel. Last year, a channel under the name Blue Ghost aroused suspicion when it began posting dashcam videos of a large number of vehicle crashes, close calls, and road rages. The account was connected to a man called Christopher Phelps, who together with his wife Kimberly had uploaded over 160 videos to the platform, all featuring their own vehicle. It turns out, not all of these accidents were actually accidents. After reviewing the couple's footage, officials linked Christopher alone to 42 videos of road rage and attempted crashes. Several of these appeared to be intentional acts, and he even posted footage of the incidents with his child in the car. Not content with that sweet YouTube AdSense, Christopher also filed 17 insurance claims linked to 23 collisions on the channel. Christopher Phelps had his driver's license immediately revoked and was sentenced to 3 years in state prison. His wife Kimberly was hit with 90 days in Wheaton County Jail, 3 years probation, and was made to attend a 52-week child abuse prevention program. But if you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next one, so click here to watch it.